Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a little while since I've talked about Target, and honestly, that's because the news around Target has slowed down tremendously, unfortunately. It looks like when Pride Month disappeared, essentially the news about Target also disappeared. Now, I don't know if Target is going to have a long lasting boycott just like Bud Light did, okay? Bud Light, even though they lost a lot of money, Target lost a lot of money, it's not quite to the extent of what Bud Light was or what Bud Light still is currently right now. Now, with that being said, Target has received apparently a letter or a warning letter from attorney generals. Now, the reason why this story is interesting is because I made a video prior talking about how Target was utilizing attorney generals on the left-leaning side to essentially try to force people to bring back the Pride merchandise, especially the tuck-friendly merchandise and all the stuff that caused the controversy in the beginning. You had about, I believe, 12 to 15 attorney generals on left-leaning states coming out and trying to basically force Target to bring the merchandise back. Now, you have apparently Republican attorneys coming out and issuing a warning to Target about the Pride merchandise and claiming that it can essentially break the law. So we're going to get into this article, guys, but of course, before we do, just consider giving this video a like so you could push us out into the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing because we're on our way to 25,000 subscribers. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, this particular letter is interesting because it's cool to see that the other side decided to kind of return fire, so to speak, and how these corporations are essentially in some sort of culture war that they found themselves in. It's very interesting. So it says 7 U.S. state attorney generals sent a letter to Target on Wednesday warning that clothes and merchandise sold as part of the company's Pride Month campaigns might violate their state's child protection laws. Republican attorneys generals from Indiana, Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Mississippi, Missouri, and South Carolina signed the letter, writing that they were concerned by recent events involving the company's Pride campaign. The attorneys said they believed the campaign was a comprehensive effort to promote gender and sexual identity among children, criticizing items like t-shirts that advertised popular drag queens and t-shirt that said girls, gays, theys. They also highlighted merchandise with anti-Christian designs such as pentagrams, horn skulls, and other satanic products. Now, they're talking specifically about the product that was made in collaboration with some psychopath trans person who tries to say that they are not Satanists, but we all know that they are. It's weird. It's like they try to come up with merchandise all based in Satanism and then essentially try to say they're not Satanists. We get it. You're not trying to come out and say it publicly because you know what's going to happen if you do that. So you're trying to say that you are just doing this to be edgy, but we all know that's not the case. You are a complete psychopath. But now, with that being said, I do find this interesting that they're trying to say that this can go against their laws in their states. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what the laws are in those states, but I do know that they have been banning a lot of sexual orientation and gender identity talk and indoctrination for anyone under the age of 18 in those states. And I do agree with a lot of that stuff. So I am not surprised that these particular states have come out and tried to fight against Target and say, hey, you might have got away with it this time, but if you try to pull this shit next time, best be known we will come after you. And of course, there's going to be left-leaning states that are going to try to counter that. So it's interesting how this has become its own little culture war set within a certain corporation. It says the letter also criticized Target for donating to Glisten, an LGBTQ organization that works to end bullying in schools based on sexual and gender identity. The company stated in a 2020 guide that school staff should not tell parents about a child's gender or sexual orientation without consulting the child first, something the attorneys general said undermines parents' constitutional and statutory rights. Now, I think that's insane. That is absolutely insane. The fact that they're trying to tell children to keep things from their parents, that is completely opposite to how I was raised, right? Like, everybody remembers tell a parent, tell a parent, tell a parent, right? Like, that was a thing that they were trying to promote in schools when I was growing up. And now they're trying to say, oh, don't tell parents anything. Just keep everything from the parents and consult the child first. Because clearly, the child knows what's best for the child. You know what I mean? It's absolutely insane. These kids have no idea how the hell the world works. They have no idea just how evil the world is. They have no idea how people will take advantage of them due to them being completely naive about how the world actually works. So I think it's insane that they're trying to make this a normal thing, and I don't think anybody should be behind it. Now, with that being said, also Glisten, GLSEN, that particular organization, it's not just that they're trying to stop bullying in schools. They're also trying to heavily promote sexual and gender identity to children. They actively promote it. They actively try to indoctrinate kids into that mindset. They actively push for that particular kind of ideology. So it's not just, oh, let's just stop bullying. No, no, no. They are trying to recruit kids into certain groups. I mean, that's just the case. That's just how it is. So it says the letter did not include any specific demands, nor did it outline how they believe the campaign could violate child protection laws, but the attorneys generals did suggest that Target might find it more profitable to sell the type of pride that enshrines the love of the United States. The attorneys generals also said that they believe Target's pride campaign threatened their financial interests, writing that Target leadership has a fiduciary duty to our states as shareholders in the company, and suggesting that company officials may be negligent in promoting the campaign since it has negatively affected Target's stock prices and led to some backlash among customers. Target shares have declined 12% this year, but the company is facing issues far beyond the backlash to its pride collection, which included onesies, bibs, and t-shirts for babies and children. Like many retailers, the company is struggling with a pullback in consumer spending because of high inflation, which has weighed on its profits. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a ton of retail corporations the same size as Target or bigger than Target that are all doing just fine. All of their stock prices are either stable or slightly rising, and yet Target is the only one that seems to have lost a 12%. It's a massive number. Think about what the valuation of that is. 12% for Target is huge. They're one of the only ones that have lost that much in a percentage, right? So again, it's not a shift in consumer practice. It is simply that consumers said, oh, this is what you want to do? Okay, I can live without buying from your brand. I can live without actually going into your stores. And the shareholders got a little nervous when they saw the backlash. You can't really blame them. So at the end of the day, the shareholders are the ones that are going to take the royal ass licking from this. And they're going to have to be the ones to eventually sue. I mean, I cannot wait to see the shareholders from corporations like Bud Light, from corporations like Target. I cannot wait to see the shareholders eventually say enough is enough and sue the ever-living shit out of these companies. It needs to happen because that's the only way that these corporations are ever going to learn. But I think at the end of the day, the indoctrination within these companies is way too far gone, and they're just not going to be able to change. They just can't. You got to tear it down all the way to the bottom and start fresh. That's the only way anything's going to happen. But until then, we're going to continue making absolute fun of Target and Bud Light and all these companies that decide to get woke and eventually go broke because of it. And Target, don't get me wrong, I know they're a multi-billion-dollar company. They're not necessarily going broke from this, but at least they felt that pain. They felt it. Even if it was temporary, they realized that if people really wanted to, they can absolutely flip them upside down on their heads and make them realize what pain actually is. But unfortunately, a lot of people seem to be forgetting about Target and doing their focus fully on Bud Light. Bud Light is a meme at this point. So they have accepted their loss and they're trying to operate at that loss now, and it's going to be very difficult for them. But Target, I don't think Target is there quite yet. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.